someone commented on one of my Instagram posts.
Okay, I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I got a lot to say and not a lot.
Well, for one, it's good to be anti-democracy because we want a free republic. We want to be free, right? Second, red side is just as bad as the blue side, and blue side is just as bad as the red side. Right wing, left wing, same motherfucking bird, okay? Third, I have learned that people who believe in conspiracy theories have been right 100% of the fucking time, and I'm so glad I listened to their stories because I learned some fucking crazy ass truth. My point, find yourself a friend that hates both sides and believes in conspiracies. I don't know where to begin with that. Like, first, I'm going to assume this is a serious comment. Not a lot of us have a lot of experience with how other governments work, but I'll tell you right now, democracy is the best we've got right now. In fact, there are other democracies that operate much better than we do. You only need to look at the Nordic countries for that. It's still democracy, just with proper social benefits. Their taxes go to the right places. We want a free republic. Just because something has the word free in it doesn't mean anything. Under a republic, there was still slavery. Under a republic, there was still women being denied the vote. What's so free about that? A system is only as free as the people it actually serves. Who keeps this society running? The working class does, not the billionaires. All they're good at doing is taking and saying, this is mine. And now I'm going to give you the privilege to pay me to kind of hand out a little bit of it, rent it out to you. Like, come on. Every kind of government or system is going to be flawed. I've said this before. Flawed hands make flawed systems. The problem starts when money is involved. When corporations start to pay people to go and complain constantly about how unfair it is that they need to pay their taxes, or that there are rules that they have to follow in order to make sure people don't die in their workplaces, that there are restrictions on where they can drill. We're technically working for all these companies, okay? We work to keep our subscriptions open on Amazon and Apple and all the other apps that we have downloaded. We work to live in this very privileged society. So our money is going to all these companies, and people are working really hard for these companies and not getting paid enough. And we know that as a fact. It is a fact. Companies like Walmart don't pay their employees enough. And so those employees have to go get what? Social programs in order to survive in the city that is pricing them out. We have minimum wage because a president said, hey, it's unfair that all these little children are working and still not getting enough to eat. So there was a minimum wage placed. The minimum to help them live. And when companies were taxed properly, the rich were taxed properly, then we had one person in the household working, supporting the entire family. I've talked about how the mindset is to drain and take and grow without any consequence. Bullies, because that's what they are, they didn't grow out of it. They were actually enabled by the system to be where they are today. Most of them had already money to begin with, or a lot of privilege. So yeah, when you get money in politics, when you have corporations being treated like people and they're allowed to donate to these politicians, the right and the left, then yes, the right and the left are both tainted. If we can agree on that, that's great. That's a great place to start. So red side is just as bad as the blue side. That's not an excuse to just get rid of democracy. It's just not. So yeah, it does seem like the same bird, the same two wings of the same corporate funded bird. Why are people angry about this? Instead of being angry at gay people, angry at immigrants, angry at trans people, angry at anybody who's just a little bit different, why aren't those same people upset that their money isn't working for them anymore? They're blaming all these other people, but their money, who decides the prices? Who decides how much of their profits go into changing our laws. It's not us, because most of us, I think, don't even go out and vote because it doesn't matter. Yeah, I used to think that too. Irresponsible and a very uneducated thing I believed. And now I'm calling it out in you, the viewer. There's a saying in Spanish is, tirar la piedra y esconder la mano. Throw the rock and hide the hand. But I have found highly narcissistic people will not just throw the rock, they'll point at the victim and say it was them. Or even worse, they throw the rock, they blame the victim for throwing the rock at them, even though they have no bruises, no evidence whatsoever that they were attacked, and the victim is beaten blue, and yet people believe the very confident, very dramatic, and sensitive narcissist. It's so frustrating when you're on the outside of it, when you've already been through this circus. It's like I'm watching a really bad movie where I just want to yell and scream at the television. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when people are just keeping their eyes on what divides us instead of what is causing the one biggest issue here? What is causing us to constantly work our butts off with no vacation, no parental leave, no health care, nothing that actually sustains us? Because what sustains us is food, shelter, and our health. These hierarchy of needs are very basic. And that is what the government, that's what we give our taxes to, so that we have at least the basics, that our society in its entirety, with all of its branches, the ones that we are aware and unaware of, are being taken care of. And now it's being picked apart, and all these branches are collapsing, and all the other branches attached to them are collapsing too. Also saying that the conspiracy theories that you've learned from other people are 100% correct, then they would not be called conspiracy theories to begin with. Some of the conspiracy theories that people are learning about now, they feel like, oh, this is new information. No, this is information that's been recirculated and rebranded since like the 50s, the 60s. So many of them have been debunked. Conspiracies do happen. They do. But like I said, conspiracy theories thrive on information gaps. They thrive on fear, and they also work because the people do the work for them. And what I mean by that is that once you're alert to something, like for the longest time, I think a couple of friends of mine would see the number 23 or something like that, and it was just showing up everywhere. Well, yeah, there's something called confirmation bias. Look it up. If you're too arrogant to accept that that might be a possibility, then again, this channel isn't for you. So go elsewhere. But if you were like me when I started believing these conspiracy theories, where I was just kind of like sitting there going, whoa, that's wild, but can that really happen? If you're still at that stage where there's that just a little bit of skepticism, then this is the place for you. I'm talking to you. Please don't fall for it. Oh gosh, please don't fall for it. It's a winding road of paranoia that takes over if you just slip too far, man. It doesn't matter whether there are UFOs. It doesn't matter whether Bigfoot exists. It doesn't matter if you believe that you were injected with a microchip. All the information the government has on you, it's already, they don't need to stick you with a microchip. Although I'm sure they will. Because why not? Those things don't matter because they do not affect your current reality. Please don't put more noise into the mix. Take the noise out. How do you do that? You disconnect. You gotta shut off the phone. You've got to go to nature and really just disconnect for a while. I say at least a week, more if you can. If you need to stay updated, sign up to something like 1440, which is like unbiased, very bullet point news to keep you updated without the verbiage that's going to get you super emotional, scared, and angry and all of that. Conspiracy theories, information gaps are cracks in your armor for someone to take advantage of. You cannot rely on just little bits of information and then jump from one conclusion to the next just because logically it makes sense. Trust me, there is more information that will change your logic. True logic cannot have chasms of gaps. That's not logical. That's you being emotional because you're using your emotions to find proof to back you up, but that proof turns out that it has very simple explanations to them that other people have already figured out. It's out there. Stop passively taking in information. Actively search out those answers. You're gonna have to listen to people who don't agree with you. You're gonna have to get out of your own echo chamber. You're gonna have to start writing things into your search that you normally wouldn't. And man, it's gonna break your world and it's not gonna be fun. Like, especially if it's really something that's really dear to you, something that you've really given your power to, it's gonna hurt. The fall is gonna hurt, but you're gonna be smarter. You're going to be better and you're going to be more empathetic. And one day you're going to feel relief that all of that is over with. You don't need to believe in secret plots to see that there's corruption, to see that there's inequality, to see that there is greed right in front of us. You don't need to hate every institution in order to demand they do better. You don't need to reject democracy to want more justice. You just need to demand a better version of it. A democracy that puts checks and balances so that nobody can just climb all the way to the top and control everybody else. The president is not a king. The president is a civil servant. The president serves the people. A king rules people. If you want to rule people, this is not the channel for you. I am not someone you want in your life. I also want to make sure I get this across too. If a comment comes to me that it doesn't seem sincere to me, and I will give the benefit of the doubt a lot probably, but if it does not seem sincere to me, I'm just going to delete it. I know it's supposed to help the algorithm or whatever, but that's the kind of mentality I want to stop. I do not have to give these people a voice. And I think it's time everyone starts to do this. I would love to come to a point where we stop allowing nonsense just because it kind of helps us out. Because we've let nonsense run rampant for too long, and now the nonsense is running our lives. People who are completely uneducated about what's happening, completely misinformed, all because we allowed a version of free speech that is completely intolerant, completely untrue. We have allowed it to happen. We've allowed ourselves to be misled. Now it's time to take our power back from those that control it, from those who continue to try to take and squeeze every last resource out of us. If I were to go down the conspiracy theory hole now, I'd tell you that it's more likely that the billionaires are just trying to squeeze us, the working class, for our resources as much as possible, because we're going to be obsolete very soon. They're going to replace us with, most of us, with robots and AI. So of course, a commodity is going out of fashion. And what do? You squeeze as much of it out as possible so that you can get as much as possible before it's too late. I mean, there's my logic. I think I have more proof that backs that up than most of the nonsense I used to believe in. So enough. Let's tell the bullies that obviously we didn't leave behind in the schoolyard. Enough. You want to go play your game with others who like to play your game amongst yourselves. You want to destroy each other, rule each other, do it on your own time and don't involve us. Don't shit the bed so bad that we've got nothing else to replace it with. The last man standing type of ideology is so nonsensical, especially in today's world where we have so many resources to share amongst ourselves, like to take care of each other, to make sure we're all happy. But dog eat dog seems to be a favorite thing amongst the right in particular, which is sad. It's just very sad. No planet can just have one class of species. What are you gonna do when you've ruined everything, when you've taken everything? Eat yourself? I know that that's an extreme, but I mean, where else? Like, why? Why do we continue to just grow for growth's sake? Do things as quickly as possible because the other person is going to get to it first. Let us breathe, man. Anyway, this is just me venting now, so I'm going to cut it here. That's all I gotta say.